So gone were the days when if someone costs around 100 million, you know that this player, one, has the experience. This player already has certain aspects of his game polished. This player is already established in the world game. But in today's market, it seems to be changing now. Teenagers and young boys can just be over 100 million, and we are supposed to accept that. Well, the person I'm trying to talk about is Enzo Fernandez. So, of course, he's not the only one who caused that amount, but he's one of them. And that's what we'll be discussing in this video. I am your host, Fairboy, and welcome back to another exciting edition on Note the Point. We'll take a closer look at Enzo Fernandez's price valuation. Benfica says that this player is worth £105 million. It is too much for a 21-year-old. But that is the reality of things right now. Whether you are Chelsea, whether you are Manchester United, whatever club that is involved in Enzo Fernandez's transfer deal should be prepared to pay a huge sum of money. Honestly, it's going to be a huge investment. And I've noticed this lately, that young players are kind of expensive. There was this player Chelsea were interested in not long ago, Endrick. He's expensive for someone who is a teen. Kai Havertz, expensive. Players who have potential are expensive. Very, very expensive. I had an opportunity to listen to one of the journalists in Ghana here, and he made mention of the reason why clubs are willing to overpay for players who have potential. These players are being overpaid for what they will bring to the club in the future. Now, if you are investing in potentials, there's always going to be a risk. If Enzo Fernandez does not turn out to be what we hyped him to be, how is that going to impact the club that is going to buy him? Or if he kind of turns out to be what we hyped him to be, how is he also going to impact the club? So for us to actually understand the sort of investment and the sort of risk or reward that comes from buying Enzo Fernandez or paying his release clause, we want to do a rough mathematics. Let's look at this rough calculation that I've just made. So for us to be able to calculate this Enzo Fernandez's investment, I've put down there his cost, the main thing, the cost. So we have how much he costs now according to Benfica, and because he's expensive, obviously his salary should be big, right? So let's say he earns around 250k a week. Okay, now I'm going to use the Chelsea model, Todd Bowley's model, 6 years. Now in 6 years, this recurring expenses, which is the salaries, would amount to £78 million. So Chelsea are going to spend a lot on him. Now, let's assume that he performs really, really well for Chelsea. Of course, naturally, his value is going to grow, naturally. And I'm going to put valuation growth rate at 25%. Okay, so if I'm to kind of find for 25% of 105 million, I'm going to get 26.2 million. Now, over the 6 years, if he manages to play the way he plays and he improves and his value increases by 25% at that rate, then it means that Chelsea is going to get 157.5 million out of him. Can you imagine? 155.7 million out of him. So imagine Chelsea decides that, okay, we want to cash him out. We don't want to renew his contract. They are going to sell this young man at around 262.5 million. Can you think about that? So this is the profit that they are going to get from him. There are some expenses that Chelsea would have to defray. Okay, so there's 78 million over here. If Enzo Fernandez happens to be off their books, and this is how much they are gaining from him, then this is what it means. It means that if they deduct the salaries and whatever, let's say the salaries out of it, Chelsea are going to gain around 79.5 million. Mind-blowing, is that not so? Good. What if Enzo Fernandez does not perform as well as we expect him to. Now, if he does not perform as well as we expect him to, naturally, his value begin to diminish. Now, let's say that his value decreases as the rate as it increases, say 25%, all right? So, over the 6 years, so you are going to divide that value, okay, the amount, by 6, which means that Chelsea will be getting just 4 million out of him. That is a loss. If I am to subtract even 4 million out of this one, I have lost, okay? And Chelsea are spending huge, okay, on his salary. His salary is what? 78 million pounds within the 6 years period, okay? So if he's not performing quite well, then it means that Chelsea would then owe, okay? If you have to subtract 78 million from that sort of loss that Chelsea incurred, it means that Chelsea is going to lose around 73 million. I did all these calculations to tell you how much of a risk it would be to invest in the 21-year-old. He has potential, okay? But if he does not live up to his potential, that's wahala for the club that buys him. But of course, Enzo Fernandez has shown promise in the World Cup and in the games he's played for Benfica that he's quite good and he could massively improve teams. So all I'm just saying is the club should be careful so that they don't incur losses because the player failed to live up to the hype that we had for him. Okay, so this is where I brought my video to an end. I hope it was short enough for you guys. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below as to Enzo Fernandez's release clause. Do you think it's too much, or you think that is how much he's worth? And to my Chelsea brothers, if Enzo Fernandez happens to come to Chelsea, do you think he's going to be a success, or you think he's going to be a failure? Let me know all of this in the comment section below, and I'll hope to catch you guys later in my next video.